Right, we don't know. This is fine. All right. Good evening. We're back. We're back. We're back. Thank you. We will talk all about that at the end. But we're ready to start the meeting at 6:30. So Boy Scouts Troop 398 with the presentation of the colors. Please join me in the pledge of allegiance. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All God, cross the colors. Will you please join me and take this pledge? Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States, one state under God, one indivisible.
Father God, protect the folks. All right, how about a hand to the board? All right. Well, it is great to be here. Thank you all for coming out tonight. We've got a short but informative program this evening. And we are going to start out by talking about bond programs. So, David Macbeth, come on down.
Thank you, Councilman. My name is David Macbeth. I'm Assistant City Engineer with the Public Works Department for the City of San Antonio. It's a pleasure to be here this evening, and we'll have a great turnout and a great facility. We're going to run through a presentation this evening to talk kind of in general terms about the overall bond program, but also give you some specific updates on projects in District 10 and the current 2022 bond program. So, okay, so we'll hit on the 2022 bond status this evening. We'll talk about District 10 project status, and then guiding principles, scoring criteria bond fees. That's kind of the overall bond planning process, which we're in 2022 right now. I'm sorry, 2025. So right kind of almost halfway through the history of the 2022 bond program, but it's not too early to start thinking about the next 5-year program in 2027. So we'll talk a little bit about what we did preparing for 22, and you can see, is that better?
Yeah.
Talk a little closer to the mic. But just talk about the planning process and leading up to the actual vote for the next bond, which would typically come in May of 2027. And then we'll talk about the 2022 bond process and timeline, and also kind of get you an idea of what that process looks like. And the road to progress is really about the communication and engagement that we have with the public about our ongoing process and projects in the current bond program. This is our division. Our public works department is over 800 people, and it's led by really our director, Rafi Hosseini, the director of city engineer on the left there. And then we have, really 5 core divisions. Louis Smallstones is my boss, he's over project delivery, and that's delivering all the capital projects in the bond program. Christy Chapman is Assistant Director, she over support services. And Jessica Sherwood-Sonics is her Assistant Director, so over the stormwater division. And Anthony Chipwood is our Deputy Director, and he leads the streets and IT programs in division in our public works department. So the 2022 bond program, as you know, we probably voted to approve it back in May of 2022. And 6 propositions, 187 projects over those 6 propositions of 1.2 million total. We have streets and sidewalks as one proposition, parks and recreation, drainage and flood control, affordable housing, public safety facilities, and then library and cultural facilities. Cultural facilities, we have facilities like we're in today, it's a wonderful facility. I've never been inside this, but it's just really fantastic. So as far as the current bond programs, we're in we just finished up year 3, we're in year 4 starting this month in May. So where do we stand? So as of April of 2025, out of the 187 projects, we have 21 that are complete and we're 11%. 60 are in construction, so that's another 32%. And 55% in design, and then 4 in pre-design, that's a 2%. Around 5% of 102 projects. So really 43% of the projects are already either completed or in construction so far. And a lot of projects we're in that, we'll see in a moment in this next chart where we're headed. So this is the overall design and construction wave. The big blue hill on the left side, that's all the design of the projects that starts right after the approval of the bond program in 2022. We start ramping up right into design of all 187 projects. So we've been in the peak of that for the last 2 years, really, and then it's starting to wind down after this year. So really, at the beginning of this year, we started ramping up bidding and putting more projects out for construction. So a lot of projects you'll see works in that. Well, you see that little dip in the middle, that's really the where we're at right now. And you go back to this. Yeah, that's so that little dip right in the middle is when we're winding down into the design phase. But beginning this year, really when we start ramping up into the construction projects. And so by the end of this year, we'll be at that peak of the construction wave, and that second wave on the chart there. And then we'll start winding those down as we get towards the end of 2027. So right now, in 2025, we go from really 60 projects that are in construction to about 120. So we're almost doubling the amount of projects going into construction citywide, not just in District 10. Let's talk a little bit about the bond program as it relates to District 10. So there are 16 projects in District 10 in the 2022 bond program, totaling about $73 million. They're all listed there. We've got really 5 projects that are in construction or complete. We have 5 that will be advertising this year, 2025, for construction. And the other 6 are in design, and those will be advertising to go late this year, early next year to go into construction as well. So we need that 5-year. The goal is to have the designs and constructed within that 5-year program will be in construction into that way. And I will get around afterwards if you have questions about specific projects, I can answer those as well. So So, when we started planning for the 2020 bond program, we started to have, ideas about what kind of projects would be included citywide. So when you start to look at different projects as you develop the program, district projects are ones that obviously serve District 10, like we're here tonight. Citywide projects are really more like citywide facilities, like some libraries, open space, parks, and sometimes be a citywide facility like McAllister Park, those kinds of things that really draw in people from all different districts. And the regional ones look at it within what we call 13 adopted SH model regional centers. Those regional centers are employment and activity nodes that are centers of activity through logistics or service or special purpose, summarized below, and then these different regional areas are across the city. Now, once they are in the District 10 area, the greater airport areas is considered a regional bond center, and then Northeast I-35 and 1604, that's also these are planning areas, and so there's a lot of economic activity, employment, those types of things that draw in a lot of infrastructure needs. And then also Rural Hubs is also in the District 10 area. So 3 out of those 13 are really within District 10. One of the other things we look at is when we're developing that bond program is what kind of guidance do we get? When we get a ton of these projects we're trying to evaluate, we got to at least start establishing some kind of a metric or mechanism to try to score projects and compare them with what kind of impact they may have. And so in the last round, we used a lot of these different categories, these guiding principles of connectivity, public health and safety, resiliency, equity, funding commitment, and project feasibility. Those different things can help you score and define whether or not a project is maybe ways a little more impactful than other ones. Doesn't mean that it's going to be on the bond. That process we'll talk about in a moment, but at least starts to get you to a point where we can compare project to project. The next thing I was going to talk about is the public input process for the bond program. So for the 2022 bond program, before it was going to come to the voters in May, there was a public process that started in 2021 that helped us to select and derive the budget that would be put into the bond program. Their bond committees were formed. They served as an advisory role and helped us obtain community input, and they considered recommended potential projects to the city council, the different districts for the 22 bond program. That process included the appointment by the mayor of 3 tri-chairs that oversaw the entire of the overall bond committee process, 10 co-chairs, and 2 per committee. So there were really 5 different committees: streets, drainage, parks, housing, and facilities, which are your libraries, police stations, facilities like this, community centers. And then these committees for each of those different areas included 3 citizen appointments per council district per committee. So District 10, we follow that same model, would have about 15 citizens that would be put on these different committees, either on streets or drainage or facilities. So keep that in mind as that's coming up next year in 2026 to be able to be prepared for the 2027 bond. So a lot of public activity with that. So the overall bond program timeline, again, this is what we did in 2022, but we projected that and added another 5 years. We would start that process this next year. We actually would start in early next year. We would start program development. This is where we start thinking about that scoring process. How do we evaluate different projects? What projects we might carryover from, it may not have been selected for the last bond. We want to try to put those in the next bond, because they were early projects, and we just didn't have the money to include everything, right? So in January and March that year, we'll select some consultants that will help us do some scoping and preliminary feasibility of those projects, so we can come up with a good scope and a good estimate for those projects. That's early in 2026. And then we go through that project scoping estimating process in the springtime. And then in the summertime, that's where you start to see some of these committee appointments happening. So by August and September, you want to have a list of staff recommended projects, and then you have those committees in place to start having committee meetings, to start having public meetings. So we ended up probably having at least 3 or 4 public meetings per committee, so there were well over 30 meetings in the fall of 2021, coming up and reevaluating these processes and projects that we have to develop that bond program. One thing I wanted to also highlight too is the amount of the bond is really not known at this time. The city manager's office and the finance committee looks at the bond capacity. That will happen in the summer of 2026 when they're in the budget process. And we'll also be able to see what kind of bond capacity based on our experience has been with the city. And so we'll know if it's going to be another $1.2 billion program, or is it bigger, or if it gets a little smaller. But that just kind of gives us a guidance of a target to shoot for when we start to estimate these projects and say how much can we fit within these different programs to have a really robust bond. And then, once the committees have done all those meetings, we have public meetings in the fall of 26. By the end of the year, you have to have those bond projects identified, specific projects identified to be included in the bond program, because in January and February of that following year, so January, February 27 in this case, or May election, we have to have the city council approve that list of bond projects, call for the election by law, so that you can hold the election in May of 2027. So the next thing I was going to talk about is, in general, let's say we've got all the bond projects approved, and we're in May of 2027. What happens next? How do you deliver a specific project? So I'm going to talk about what we do in the streets and drainage capital project delivery area. So specifically, right after the bond gets approved in May, we go through what we call a consultant mass selection process, because there are 187 projects, and to be able to get that off and running, we do a big mass selection process for architects, engineers, landscape architects that summer. So it goes out right after the bond is approved. We go through a review that's submitted by all these consultants and make those selections during that summertime. And then in the fall, we start scoping meetings and with those different consultants for each and every single project. And then that's when we start negotiating the fees and get a contract in place. So that doesn't happen overnight either. We have so many projects, it takes several months to go through that process for every single project. And then we have a design kickoff meeting with a consultant, with all our partner agencies, with SAWS and CBS, because they usually join design and build projects with us so that we can tear up a street at one time. So we only have to, we get an opportunity for everybody to upgrade your facility with the road project or the branch project. If we have a 20% utility coordination meeting, utilities are a very important component in our bond projects and our street projects. It's not just putting in the street and sidewalks. There's a lot of things going on underground that have to be addressed as well: storm drainage, water, sewer, gas. All of that goes into these different street projects. And then we have what we call a 40% design deliverable. That's what we try to do is go through a 40, 70, 95% milestone design. So we evaluate it at each stage to look at the way to try to make sure that we're on track we're delivering a project that we scope properly and that the design is working and we get all our different plans within the city reviewing those plans and making sure it's a good design. Usually right after the 40% design, we have a public meeting where we actually present to the public in that area of the project and provide an opportunity for the folks to come out and talk about the project and maybe give us really good feedback on the elements in that area. Maybe there's a lot of drainage issues, maybe there's traffic, maybe it's pedestrian issues. So we want to hear from the community and the public that lives in that area to get really solid feedback on as we develop the project. Then we go through a 70% design, 95% on, and then once we get through that, we finalize the plans and prepare to advertise and open bids to the contractor to build the project. Once that's done, we evaluate those bids, take it to city council, and that's when we have a pre-construction meeting and construction phase close out. So basically, that kind of just from the beginning of our program to the end to be able to deliver. And that's that 5-year time. Sounds like it should happen a lot longer, but I mean, it shouldn't make that long. But there's a lot of design work to do. We also have permitting. We also have utilities and some non-joint utilities as well. And as well as sometimes we have to acquire real estate, so that takes some time as well. So the last slide here we have is the road to progress, and this is actually on our website, the city's website. If you go into the city San Antonio, go to sanantonio.gov and just type in the road to progress or bond trend dashboard, it'll take you to these pages where you can actually go in and look at each specific project and look at an update on particular projects in your area. It provides you with a snapshot of the status of the project. It may have some presentations already posted there or some public meetings we may have had. And also gives you contact information so that you can reach out to us and try to get you specific questions and answers. So that's a good way to be able to provide an opportunity for the public to just find out at any time what the status of the bond project is. So it gives us an accountability to the public. Also, there's opportunities, other opportunities to reach out through 311 or SACP to find out what different things are going on with our projects. We also have other tools like the construction toolkit, signage issues, and there's different things that we try to implement to be able to navigate some of the projects when they're in construction. So with that, hopefully that's a brief and a big overview of the bond process. And I hope you all learned something, but I will be here afterwards if you have specific questions about projects in District 10. I'll hang around and answer those for anyone who wants to come on.
All right. All right, that was great. Y'all will notice that top of the line is on there. I saw a bunch of you at the polls during early voting, and top of the line was clearly the number one issue that I heard about from our District 10 residents. All right, before we move on to our next presentation, I want to introduce to you the newest member of the District 10 team, Lainey Clark. Come on up. We are going to take our communications to the next level, and Lainey is the person that's going to head that up.
Hi, everybody. My name is Lainey Clark. I may have met some of you because I was working with President Osmanano for his mayoral campaign. So I've been around a little bit, but next week I'll officially be joining the D10 team, and I couldn't be more excited. They already have a great digital presence, but I'm just here to make it more known and get everybody to see it. We do have a newsletter, which I'm not sure how many of you are on, but if you're not on it, come up to me after and I can get your email so that you can start seeing that. And if you're not following our social medias and keeping up with us digitally, just come talk to me. I would love to get to know all of you, especially since I'm so new and I'm joining the team. I just really want to get involved, and I can't wait to see your faces more regularly.
All right. Well, following the mayor's race, you will know that Beto had the biggest social media presence out there. And a lot of the great videos and things that we put out were done by him. So we're really, really excited to have. All right, next up, Spay Neuter Network, Mr. Alita Belmontes.
Yes.
Here we are. All right, come on up.
Thank you. Mr. Councilor, congratulations on your reelection. Okay, bear with me, I don't have a presentation. I'm very new to this role. You have my speech here, so bear with me. Okay, hi everyone. My name is Estelita Belmontes, and I work with Spay Neuter Network. I am the outreach coordinator and the humane educator here in San Antonio. We are a nonprofit organization dedicated to ending pet overpopulation and making pet care more affordable and accessible for everyone. We offer low-cost spay and neuter surgeries, as well as free vaccinations and microchip. And this is just to keep pets healthy, safe, and active. Since 2004, we've been growing from a single mobile clinic to operating 4 clinics across Texas. Serving nearly 60,000 pets each year, our mission is to make it easier for people to care for pets, regardless of their income, transportation, or location. Some of our key programs include transportation services for families without reliable transportation. We also offer Traffic Leader, TNR. That's to humanely manage outdoor cat population. We also do neighborhood outreach, where we go door to door in high-need areas to bring resources directly to our community. And this fall, we're launching a humane education program in San Antonio schools to teach students about pet care, kindness, and how to stay safe around pets. Spay Neuter Network is a 501c3 nonprofit that is not funded by city tax dollars. We rely on donations, grants, and public support to offer the lowest possible prices. So financial hardships don't force families to give up their pets. We're here to support pets and people who love them. We're also available for events, school programs, and neighborhood meetings to expand access to pet care. That's pretty much it. Thank you all so much for having me. I think if you have any questions in regards to maybe your animals or your dog or cat, should be a text or call me, and let me help you guys.
Do we have any questions now?
Our clinic is located right across the zoo behind the adoption center. So our organization's been operating since 2004. They started off in Dallas, but we are fairly new to San Antonio, about 2 years. Yeah. I'm sorry.
Are you headquartered somewhere local?
Headquarters up in Dallas, Fort Worth, yeah. But we do have a clinic here in San Antonio. We're hoping to expand in the near future.
Anybody else? All right. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. I also want to recognize, while we're here before our next presentation, All My Sons Self-Defense. That's in the back there. We're going to be getting a great presentation from them at next month's meeting. The month after. Yep, in July. So we actually met out at the polls and talked a little bit about what they do. And I thought our folks would love to hear from them. So thank you all for being here, and we look forward to that presentation. All right, next up, Bear County Military and Veteran Services, Austin Harris.
Thank you for the invitation. Thank you. Look at you guys, young whippersnapper. You look so great. Look at you. No one's told me it's ready. You guys look great. All right, come on. My name is Austin Harris. I work for the Bear County Veterans Military Service Center. I'm a veteran myself. I'm a veteran. Proud to be a veteran. Thank you. Thank you. Let's go through this process, and I'm still trying to cope with that. I know we have some veterans. Show of hands of how many veterans we have here. If it wasn't for the veterans that came before me, like the World War II and the Vietnam veterans that wouldn't know how to treat us Iraqi veterans, and from the bottom of my heart, I truly appreciate your service. And anytime I get one of you guys inside of my office, I give you guys the utmost respect and care, and I treat every single one of your claims with the most precious and delicacy that I can, because I really appreciate what you guys did for us. So one more time, keep yourself ahead of that. I was asked to come out to talk about the VA claims funding process. And I know it can be tricky for some of those, but it's a very easy process if you know what you're doing, right? With my organization, the Bear County Veterans and Military Service Center, we're a one-stop shop. What separates us from other veteran service organizations is that we do it all. We encompass everything, from your initial claim to, God forbid, your burial benefits and your dependents' benefits, okay? So we're different from these other organizations. We are case managers, so we will deal with you from start to finish. You don't have to talk to me and then talk to someone in Amarillo the next time you call me. You can't come to my office and see me. My new office is located inside Hallmark University, but we do have offices all over San Antonio to assist you guys. On this side of town, we have one in Wayland Baptist University. We have an office right outside of Fort St. Lucie on Grayson Street. We have one at Texas A&M University on the south side. My location, which used to be at the 151 VA, is now at Hallmark University. And then we have another location on the west side at the Westside Education and Technology Center. So we're spread out all around the city to service you guys, okay? What we do and why you choose Bear County. Like I said, we're a one-stop shop. You can come see us at any time and deal with that one veteran service officer throughout the duration of your claim. We'll follow up with you. We'll keep you in the loop as long as you keep us in the loop and do your end as well. If anything is denied, we do everything we can do your appeals, your increases, temporary 100%, meaning if you're service-connected for a condition, and if you have a surgery on that service-connected condition, the VA can take like 100% rate if you're not 100% pending your recovery. Now, the most important question right there, and the issue that I deal with a lot of those veterans, especially when you serve for the older periods of service, a lot of the veterans didn't really go to medical or sick hall, what they call it now. And I get it. We had a lot of pride, right? We were told not to go to sick hall if it's not broken, suck it up and drive on, right? And we get that. But in lieu of a medical record of sick hall, if you have a current doctor that is currently aware of your condition, we can use medical advice in lieu of that. Because the VA is going to look for three things, right? They're going to look for that event, disease, or injury in service. They're going to look for your current diagnosis, and they're going to look for some sort of medical link in between what it is you're claiming and that condition and what you did while in service. So it's very important to get all of your conditions looked at and documented. And I know at some of our advanced ages, some of these things start to creep up. So if you were in certain areas such as Vietnam or Korea or Thailand and places of that nature, if you have certain conditions, try to get in touch with the VSO to see if some of these conditions can be service connected, okay? If the VA will service connect some conditions that are presumed. All right, so the claim basics. When someone comes to see me and they have a condition, I'll ask them, hey, How do you know you have this condition? Who diagnosed it? And if you give me a doctor's name, I can annotate that on what's called VA Form 4142, so the VA can pull that medical record if it's not a federal installation like BAMC for the retirees or Wilford Hall. We can pull those records for you guys. So it's never one of those things where your medical records are lost in limbo. We can try to get them for you. The VA has what's called the duty to assist, to develop these claims for you guys, right? They have the duty to assist to do that. After the VA tries to develop your thing, they send you to what's called a compensation and pension examination. Now, these compensation and pension examinations are a little bit different from regular medical appointments because they're not going to treat you, right? They just want to validate, one, that you have the condition that you're claiming. Then they want to determine how severe it is. How does this condition affect this veteran functionally day to day, right? After they do that, they send their medical opinion back to the VA, and then the VA will send you a decision letter based on that appointment. Now, I get a lot of veterans that don't understand the decision letter. This is where we come into play. We take tests every year to stay accredited so that way we can service you guys. We know the VA's decision letters. I've been doing this since about 2010, so I know the deal, but I've been doing this for quite a while. So I know the VA's decision letters before they even sent out. The VA denies for one of three things, right? They deny because they don't see that disease or injury in service. They deny because you're not currently diagnosed, or they deny because there's no medical link between what you're claiming and what you did while in service. So you always got to make sure we get everything documented, right? Get seen. And if you have any questions, come see us because we're medical professionals. And remember, you never have to pay. And I know a lot of times as we get advanced in age, we figure we don't have a lot of time left. I just want to pay someone to get this thing done. You don't have to. We do the same thing that they do, but better. Okay? So never ever pay anyone to do your claims for you. We are accredited for yourselves, and we will never charge. Texas Veterans Commission never charges. DAV doesn't charge. The VA itself doesn't charge. And if you're abreast with VA.gov, you can upload yourself for free. Okay? So remember that. Never charge. Never ever pay anyone to follow these things. All right. To 30% or more. This is when you can claim your dependents. And after you claim your dependents then get certain benefits based on what you are service connected for. For example, Vietnam veterans, if God forbid you have to see guys, any one of the presumed conditions gets you, like diabetes, any one of the prostate cancers, leukemias, any one of the respiratory conditions, your spouse then can get what's called dependent indemnity compensation, to where she can get a portion of your service-connected disability for the rest of their natural life. So it's very important that you come and try to contact us if you feel that your spouse may have passed by one of these conditions that the VA has deep presumption. Okay? Does everybody understand what I'm saying? Yeah. I know I can start talking VA jargon and go on a tag. I kind of want to make super easy and super basic so that everyone get the gist of it. Now, like I was saying earlier, evidence is key. And medical evidence is what gives us these claims. Yes, I do know how to type it up and make it sound good, but the medical evidence to back it up is what wins us these claims, okay? So get seen, guys. Get seen. Get everything documented. And if you get it to me, we can try to fight for that service connection for you guys. Presumptive conditions. The VA on VA.gov has put out a list of conditions, depending on where you were, that they will presume you got it just from being there. So we can prove on your manifest or on your D214 that you were in a certain location and you come up with one of these presumed conditions that are on that VA list on VA.gov, we can try to get that service connection for you guys. It's important. Get seen, know what you have, come see us with the medical evidence, and we can try to get you service for you. How to be currently diagnosed, right? If you ever filed a claim, we'll look in your service treatment record. So if you come to us, when we gain access to your service treatment record, we'll look through it just to see if you have been to sick call, and see what you can try to get service connected for. And remember, for this season, continuity of care. If you never went to sick call for something, but yet you start feeling something after service, you've been dealing with the same issue throughout the totality of your life, we can try to use that as a continuity of care to try to do that with the service connection as well. So there's multiple angles. Pension. So when it comes to pension, I get a lot of pension questions from the older veterans. At least one of these must be true, right? And the list is here. You're 65, have a permanent disability, or patient in nursing home for long-term care, and get social security disability. Now, pension is totally income-based. It is an income-based program. So we will have to do a financial statement and calculate your assets for you to qualify for pension. So pension is a program that is still there to assist you, but it's not going to get you to that 100% rate. It's just going to keep you at a little bit above the poverty line per se. The PACT Act. Now this is the big one. A lot of veterans come to me and say, "Oh, I want to file PACT Act." Sure, we can file for conditions related to the PACT Act, but the PACT Act is just that. It's a bill. It's a bill that opened up the doors for veterans to file for claims that I was talking about earlier that are now presumptive depending on where you work. So we do PACT Act claims, and we can get you service connected if you were in those places that the VA has deemed on that list for service connection based on the conditions that you have diagnosed. All right, so the PACT Act does cover this thing, warfare agents, radiation for the WW2 veterans, chemicals and air pollutants for the Vietnam guys, also for the Navy veterans that asbestos, lead, materials, industrial solids, things of that nature. So if you feel like you were in one of those places or you've been exposed, please contact us and we can get you squared away. All right, so if anything gets denied, we can do appeals. I've been doing appeals for the last 7 or 8 years, so I'm comfortable doing appeals. You know, to me, you sitting in front of the screen talking to a judge about how they made a mistake. We have several different BSOs in my organization that are able to do appeals, like me being one of the most seniors out, I'm very comfortable doing. So if you have anything that was denied before, if anyone has gone through that process, you can get in contact with me, and I can try to take over that case for you if you are comfortable with it, or if you're denied it. We're not going to go over VA-MAP. VA-MAP is a complicated table which combines service connections depending on the bilateral factor area to overlap and things of that nature. If you have questions about VA-MAP, I have some business cards. Get in touch with me. I can do now, burial. I don't like talking about burial because I know you guys are so young and you got so much more life ahead of you. But it happens to us all, right? No one makes it out alive. That's just how it works. If anything happens, God forbid, we will take care of the burial benefits and being able to give out the month of burial. But with certain burials, you can get additional funding, which is called DIC for the dependency. The easiest way to upload your documents and the easiest way to get service is to do it yourself, right? To go to VA.gov. We get to check the status of claims, have remove your dependents, change how the VA pays you, your address, and you can download your VA benefits. Our website is for you. If you follow us on verify.org or on our website, you'll be updated with everything that's going on throughout the city, all of our outreach initiatives. We partner with a bunch of different community members, so these are some of the partners that we work with, Texas.gov, TBC, like one of the organizations that I used to work with, very great. If you can scan the QR code, you can get on one of our calendars. Our response time is about 2 to 3 business because we are a military city, just the pure volume of veterans, we do get overwhelmed. So I do urge you to try to get on one of our calendars as soon as possible. Thank you for your time, guys. I really appreciate it.
And if you have questions after we're done, it would be nice to have you stick around and answer some. All right. That brings us to me. And I want to begin just by saying thank you to everybody in this room. I appreciate that. I am thrilled to be returning as your councilman. I'm honored by the support. We didn't just win, we won in a big way. And, I was down at City Hall in the first week after, and everybody's staff and everything was like, wow, man, Mark, the District 10 folks had to have your back. And it was just, it was a really weird feeling. The first time for me to be on the ballot for re-election, and you just wonder, what does the community think about the work that we've done? Obviously we've had a great 2 years, not without some bumps in the road, and you never are sure as the candidate what the community thinks, and to be reelected like that, I'm forever grateful. I appreciate it, and we're going to continue to work very, very hard for you, and so you'll see that you made the right choice. So thank you all so much. I'm looking forward to these 4 years. I really am. So where do we start about what's going on? Well, you know where I have to start, with my favorite 3 words in the English alphabet, zero-based budgeting. We put it together back in 2024. We got it through. And 2 weeks ago, I got to sit right there in the briefing room with city management, laid out the new hybrid zero-based budgeting process that we are going to start to implement as a city. The first 4 departments that we're going to be using this new budgeting model with are Parks and Recreation, Metro Health, Human Services, and Public Works. And I couldn't stop smiling the whole meeting, and all my colleagues were sort of looking at me and giggling during the briefing. But we got there, and staff did what they promised to do. We had an outside consultant come in, interview all of the departments, put together a plan for us, and we are going to move it forward. And of course, the end goal being to spend your tax dollars more efficiently. Because what I've seen over the first 2 years, we're not doing a good enough job of that, but we are finally moving towards doing it. And let me tell you, there could not be a better time. Because if you watch the news, you saw that our city is in a little bit of a financial pickle right now. We are $3.5 million. We have got more expenses than we do money coming in. So we're going to have to balance the books coming up in this budget. And if things keep going like this, we're 35 to 40 million over in a year or two, and then 100+ million over a few years down the road, right? We do not have a revenue problem. We've got a spending problem down at the city, and we're going to fix it. We're going to fix it. Express News was nice enough to print that op-ed that I wrote in the paper on Sunday. I hope all my colleagues read it, because we are going to be pushing hard, and depending on who we get in the mayor's office, I think it'll play a big part of if we're going to have success with this or not. Which reminds me, June 7th is a runoff election. We got to pick the mayor, and everybody needs to get out there and vote. Next, vape shops, right? We took this on about 6-7 months ago. I remember the day Raul, Rebecca, and I sat around my office and said, how do we get this done? Because we got a lot of calls about that vape shop that's there right next to Madison High School. It's not right that these kids are walking out of school from the vape shops are placed right in front of them. We teamed up with Councilman Courage and And 2 weeks ago, we passed a new ordinance here in the city, no more vape shops within 1,000 feet of schools. So we're ready to work with our colleagues to get that done. Very, very excited about that. The Northeast Corridor. I've told y'all the story. It was the very first day that I walked into my office. Right there was this Northeast Corridor plan back from the days of John Clam, right? Nothing had been done. We've talked about it over the years. We sat down with our city manager, Eric Walsh, and said, the time is now. We've got some money. What do we got to do? We got the city to hire a consultant, come down, look at the Northeast Corridor, start to make some recommendations. And what we're going to be doing coming up is we're going to pass an ordinance that's going to set some new guidelines for what businesses are going to have to look like along the corridor. We're going to try to bring some uniformity to that area. We're going to try to do some facade improvements, some lights, which are of course going to make the area safer and really start, you know, when you're going north up Parent Vital and then you get going down Thousand Oaks a bit over where the HEB is and everything, we've got to do something to spruce up the middle of the district. So we're going to work very, very hard during this next term to get that done. So those are the budget survey as well. All of y'all got them tonight, right? Please make sure to fill them out and give it to us. And we're going to be talking a lot about the budget survey coming up. And it's really good ammunition for me, folks, because when we get to the fall, we start talking about the budget, and some of my colleagues want to spend money on Lord knows what. I'm going to hold up the budget survey and I'm going to say, why do we even ask our citizens to fill this out if we're not going to actually use it? Because I know what's going to come out in the top 2, 3, or 4 spots on this survey, right? It's always about public safety. It's about infrastructure. It's about all the things we always talk about. And I get to hold that up and say to them, hey, this is what the citizens of San Antonio want. This is where we need to spend more money. So in terms of the election, you mentioned June 7th. It's not just, I mean, for you all, when you go to the polls, it'll be just the mayor's race on the ballot. But we do have some other elections going on across the city. I'm hoping maybe a friend or two may get elected in some of the other races. We'll see. And we're going to have a drastically different looking council come June, the night of June 7th. And so I am anxiously awaiting that. What else do we have? Yep, if you want to serve on a board or a commission, we have the Commission on the Status of Women that's available, and the Higher Education Student Advisory Board. If anybody's interested in serving on one of these boards, please let us know. Yep. Listen, it can be coffee with the councilman. That sounds cooler. Or we can do lemonade with the councilman. It is summer, so you may want to do lemonade instead of coffee. But as you know, we'll come to your neighborhood. We'll bring the coffee or the lemonade. You just bring the neighbors, and we'll set up some donuts, some pastries, whatever it is, and we'll talk about everything going on in your neighborhood. We got the Mother's and Father's Day luncheon, June 4th. We did that for the first time last year. It was a lot of fun, so please come out to that. And of course, anytime you want to come by our field office and sit down and chat on whatever the issue is, all you got to do is call, and Cynthia will get you scheduled. And well, it looks like the next one is tomorrow, from 4 to 5:30. Just stop by and we'll chat. So that is what's going on. We are going to do a raffle now, and raffle away some of our bags, and then we have an extra special raffle tonight. Right? Yeah. I will say as well, and I can't talk about this in here because we are in the city building, but when you leave tonight, Erica, y'all know Erica Guzman, she's going to be standing outside with a flyer for a special event that we're having on Wednesday. And I would love to see as many of you there as possible. So please make sure to grab one of those flyers. Blue ones first. Here we go. For the
What color?
bags. For the bags for blue tickets. Blue tickets for the bags. Last three digits. 499. Got a winner. Look at that. Bag number one. We have three bags. It would be great to take with you to the beach this summer. Next, 513. 513, all right, all the way to the back. All the way to the back. And our last District 10 bag goes to 495. 495. No?
You got it, right? That last time?
No. 495? Nope, nobody 495. We're gonna draw again. Going once, going twice. Nope, here we go. 476. All right, 476. All right. All right, now grab your red ticket. Fish City Grill, some of you may know, has opened a location in District 10, and I'm very happy about it. If you haven't been there, it's great. And we have a we got a $50 gift card to Fish City Grill. It's right there on Nacogdoches, so on inside of 410. So fairly about 5-6 minutes from the field office. Right next to the HEB. That's right. So Fish City Grill is nice enough to have donated $50. Here we go. The winner is, with your red tickets, 772. There we go. All right. Thank you all again. I'm fired up. We're going to keep doing good things for District 10.